Okay, listen, Linda. We live in a world where there are a lot of leaks and rumors when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Marvel Cinematic Universe has been doing some silly shit. You know, things are feeling off, content not hitting, box office getting real low. Crazy times. Okay? And a lot of us, myself included, believe that their best hope, their best option to get out of this is actually in the X-Men. The way I see it, Spider-Man 4 is going to do Spider-Man numbers. That's a evergreen character. I mean, people love Spider-Man, dude. That movie's going to make a shit ton. I think Doomsday's going to make a shit ton. I know it's kind of a funny thing to be like, oh, what if Doomsday underperforms or whatever? I just don't see it. You know, if y'all going to line up around the block for the fucking Minecraft slop, you're going to line up for the RDJ slop. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be cruel, but that's what it is. Those same motherfuckers are going to line up for that. Okay. I think Doomsday guaranteed to perform. I think Secret Wars is guaranteed to perform because it's spectacle. The real test becomes after all of that is over and you got this new cast of X-Men and you're just left with this new version of the MCU. That's where the real test begins. That's like, okay, outside of all of this crazy shit you just did, and outside of leaning on Robert Downey Jr., and outside of leaning on Spider-Man, can you rebuild this cinematic universe using a new young cast of the X-Men? Okay? And with that in mind, considering how important it is, everybody's trying to figure out what is Marvel going to do with the X-Men. Well, a couple of days ago, and I'm going to show you this now, okay? Couple of days ago, crazy rumors for Jake Schreier's X-Men movie started circulating online. This comes from 4chan, which is gross. You should take a shot of penicillin before you continue listening to the segment here. But I wanted to go over this because there are parts of this that are cool. There are parts of this that are terrible. And unfortunately, there are parts of this that are very much believable. And so I started to bitch and moan about this on Twitter over the weekend. I did get some people to say it wasn't true. Okay, so like Shine said it wasn't true. Cryptic HD basically said like it doesn't seem like it's true. The redacted guy told me it's 100% not true. But Alex Perez refused to debunk it, probably just because he's mad at me. But he refused to debunk it. And on top of that, there's just too much shit in here that seems like it's real. Okay? So let's go through this. And let's complain. Let's bitch. Let's moan. And let's say to Kevin Feige, stop trying to make fetch happen. And by fetch, I mean Miss Marvel. Okay, so I saw this on 4chan, but according to a few scoopers, a story outline that recently got posted for Schreier's upcoming X-Men movie is circulating online. And it's seemingly rather accurate. This is the only one that a few others think it could be, so take it with a grain of salt, as always. Here we go. The mutants will be introduced into the MCU, you guessed it, via the multiverse. A large number of mutants will migrate to the MCU after their own home world was destroyed following the events of Secret Wars and Doomsday. They will be coming from Universe 617, the neighbors of the MCU's 616. Now, right off the bat, this seems a little unbelievable, because from everything we've heard, the MCU reboot is going to basically take separated universes, smash them all together, and make it seem like they had always been together. And so it's hard to imagine that that's happening. And then also the mutants are coming in from a multiverse. However, one of the reasons I think this could be real, and maybe this is, like, if this is a fake leak, this is probably why this person is thinking this. We know there's going to be an X-Men universe in Doomsday. And I would not be surprised if that universe and the conflict between universes was set up to establish tension for those characters eventually migrating in to the main 616 universe. It would be an interesting way to make, because remember, Kevin said that, and Alex Perez has hinted at this too, stuff in Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to play into the X-Men saga. Some of the tension between the mutants and the MCU characters that we're going to see unfold in these next two Avengers films is going to carry over into the reboot. So for that reason, a lot of people think, oh shit, this could be real, okay? Now here's where it gets lame as fuck. A large portion of these mutants will just be very unknown background characters with very random powers, especially created for the MCU. And a select few will be known as X-Men, such as Magneto and Professor X, who will be friends, Rogue, Cyclops, Storm, Jubilee, and so on, whilst some fan favorites, such as Wolverine, won't be around at this point in time. Now, that matches up with old rumors we've heard about Wolverine not being involved, but it's like, does this person actually know this, or is this person just taking the known leaks and then speculating and calling it a leak, right? Professor X, using Cerebro, would have chosen Earth 616 specifically after seeing how they celebrate heroes and those who are different. However, despite Professor X's optimism when these mutants arrive in the 616, there will be a lot of backlash from the rest of society. People in governments will begin to argue that they don't belong here. There are too many people with powers, and that Earth can't really handle a population increase, especially after they already offering refugees to the Asgardians, which is a narrative point that Kevin Feige really wanted to reflect from modern politics and the current migration crisis. Sounds terrible. Let's keep reading. This is something that will somewhat divide the established MCU characters, but one character who will be on the side of the mutants and will be the center of this film will be, dun dun dun, Miss Marvel. No! In this film, she will make herself known to the mutants and become an ally, having been able to relate to them with the fact that her parents migrated to the U.S. in search of a better life, which as a result of her and her family have received discrimination. Jesus fucking Christ. Now, as I said above, at this point, Magneto and Professor X will be friends. However, whilst Professor X will be a lot more sympathetic to the humans who want them gone, Magneto will be a lot more angry and fearful, having just come from a universe where mutants were treated like dirt and discriminated against. So whilst Professor X believes that they should simply be patient and respect towards this new Earth, believing they will eventually come to the right decision, whether they should be allowed to stay or not, Magneto will begin to form plans with smaller bands of mutants in order to turn the tide. At the center of this plan will be Miss Marvel, who Magneto will discover has a mutant gene that was unlocked by the cosmic radiation given off by her bangles. Up until this point, Professor X and Magneto, presumably the humans of 616 universe, don't possess a mutant gene. Magneto will discover, after coming into possession of government files, that a similar thing happened with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who gained the powers after being exposed to the power of the Mind Stone. In this film's climax will lead to Magneto using Miss Marvel and her bangles to trigger a dormant mutant gene for everyone who possessed it on Earth. Magneto will see this as a way of uniting the refugees of 617 and the inhabitants of Earth 616. This will also later introduce 616 variants of certain mutants, such as Wolverine. In the backdrop of this, Professor X and his team of mutants will be wishing to prove their value to 616 Earth by completing missions, offering knowledge, and even helping certain Avengers, such as Sam Wilson's Captain America, on their own missions. Oh my God. So first off, chat, do you like this? Do you not like this? Tell me how you're feeling. Do you like this? Do you not like this? What do you guys think? Yeah, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. This is fucking awful, bro. First Gaming 9 says, I'm fine with it. Okay. Listen. Luckily, a lot of people have come forward to say this is not true. Here's the problem I have, though. I keep saying to all these people, so no Miss Marvel? Thank God. Get Miss Marvel out of my fucking face. I don't want her anywhere near the mutants. I don't want her to be the center of the mutant saga. I don't want to be the center of the mutant character. Honestly, would rather her just go away. And none of them are like, oh yeah, that's happening. In fact, some of them are like, well, she is a mutant. Bro, shut the fuck up. What are you trying to tell me? That part of this is true? Oh my God. If Kamala Khan stands on some kind of soapbox and has her fucking you need to do better senator moment, and it's all about how she was an immigrant and now they need to accept her as an immigrant, and then we need to accept the mutants as immigrants. Oh my fucking God, it's totally cooked. That would be trash. That would be so trash. Okay? So I'm really hoping that that's not what it is. However, I can't ignore all this shit about Miss Marvel. So, like, dude, there's been this ongoing thing with Miss Marvel where Kevin Feige had her killed in a Spider-Man comic, only to then be resurrected in an X-Men comic, only to then become part of the new X-Men stuff. And G. Willow Wilson, the original writer, has said this is stupid. Most of the Marvel fans think this is stupid. It just feels so silly. And it feels like it's all been done to try to force Miss Marvel into the mutants, into the X-Men, and I just don't understand it, dude. I just don't understand it. And even if all of the other shit in this leak is not true, that Miss Marvel bit is so bad. And I guess part of why I even wanted to talk about this was like, so there's some stuff in here that's kind of interesting to me. Like, I like this idea of the cosmic, stuff causing the X gene to pop up. I actually wouldn't hate the X-Men coming in from a different universe, and there's like some potential there. And it almost seems like they have to with like X-Men and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, right? But man, this, you know what this feels like? This feels to Kevin Feige. This feels to Marvel Studios. I'm personally hoping that whatever they do with the X-Men is X-Men. I want it to feel like the old school X-Men. I want it to feel like X-Men 97, all these different things, dude. That's what it should be. This feels like, oh, we need to do the MCU version of the X-Men. We need to do the Kevin Feige version of all these characters. And you're going to know for sure it's so different than what came before. And I'm worried, chat. I am worried that if any part of this is true, especially the Miss Marvel bit, it will take Marvel's best fucking chance to actually get this thing back and squander it. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like, this dead ass might be Marvel's last chance to actually get this shit back on track and to persist and to be able to put out 1 to 2 movies a year that actually build a story, that sound really cool, that are really interesting. Oh my God. If this is actually what it is, if any part of this is true, it's a fucking disaster. And so I'm kind of putting this out there a little bit to kind of like wave a flag to get you to understand it. And I actually would not be mad if there was a series of conversations that were had very loudly on social media that were basically like, fuck Miss Marvel being a part of the X-Men, get that shit out of here. Because I think there needs to be enough pushback from the fans to get them to abandon this idea. And the tough part is they're pretty committed. Like, he obviously really likes Kamala Khan. They let her write a comic. What? Jesus. So there needs to be some kind of pushback from the fans, enough to say, hey man, stop trying to make fetch happen. Please don't put this character into the mutant shit. Abandon ship and just do traditional X-Men. That's what it's going to take. So, yeah. What do you guys think, man?